Museum of Fine Arts Brussels. Nestled in the vibrant heart of Brussels, where architecture whispers centuries of history and cobblestone streets echo with stories untold, lies a treasure trove of creativity, heritage, and cultural soul. This is not just a museum, it's an odyssey through time, a mirror to human expression, and a sanctuary for art lovers around the globe. Welcome to the Royal Museums of Fine Arts of Belgium, one of Europe's richest cultural institutions. Hello fellow art enthusiasts, history lovers, and curious minds. This is Now and Next, and today we're about to embark on a truly immersive journey. Over the next few minutes, we're going to explore the entirety of the Museum of Fine Arts in Brussels, diving deep into each of its 6 specialized museums. We'll decode the techniques of the old masters, explore the surreal worlds of Magritte, and uncover hidden gems that even seasoned visitors might miss. So, settle in and prepare for a visual feast and intellectual adventure that spans centuries. The story behind the museum. The Royal Museums of Fine Arts of Belgium date back to the early 19th century. In 1801, under Napoleon Bonaparte, a decree established a national museum in Brussels. But the real momentum came post-Belgian independence in 1830, when the state took a keen interest in curating and promoting Belgian art. The role of King Leopold II, museum expansions. Okay, let's talk about the man who left a massive and controversial mark on Brussels, King Leopold II. Love him or hate him, there's no denying his impact on the city's cultural scene. When it comes to the Museum of Fine Arts Brussels, Leopold II played a huge role in its expansion. He had this grand vision of turning Brussels into the Paris of the North, and part of that plan was elevating the arts. He pumped resources into building and expanding museums, including the stunning neoclassical structure that now houses the Old Masters collection. Without him, this museum wouldn't be the architectural gem we admire today. But here's the twist: while Leopold II gave a lot to art and culture, the money often came from dark origins, mainly his brutal exploitation of the Congo Free State. It's a tough legacy to balance. Still, when you walk through the Museum of Fine Arts, you're seeing his ambitions carved into stone, massive halls, intricate designs, and room after room of priceless art. Over the years, the museum continued to grow, adding new wings and collections, thanks to that early royal push. So yeah, King Leopold II's role? Complicated, but absolutely foundational to what the museum is today. Relationship with European institutions and growing collections. Over the decades, the museum's collection grew through acquisitions, bequests, and international exchanges. Today, it houses over 20,000 artworks, ranging from the 15th century to contemporary times, and welcomes nearly 700,000 visitors each year. An introduction to the 6 museums. The Royal Museums of Fine Arts isn't a single building. It's a collection of 6 distinct museums. The Old Masters Museum, the Modern Museum, the Magritte Museum, the Fin de Siècle Museum, the Meunier Museum, the Wiertz Museum. Each museum offers a deep dive into a specific period, style, or artist's body of work. Our tour will explore them in detail, beginning with the oldest and most prestigious, the Old Masters Museum. The Old Masters Museum. Step into the Old Masters Museum, and you're walking into a living archive of European art history. This museum spans the 15th to the 18th centuries, showcasing Flemish primitives, Baroque splendors, and Renaissance refinement. Flemish primitives: Van Eyck, Memling, Rogier van der Weyden. Let's begin with the Flemish primitives, pioneers of realism and divine detail. Jan van Eyck's use of oil paints revolutionized texture and light. His Virgin and Child with Canon van der Pijl is a triumph of spiritual storytelling. Hans Memling, with his soft humanism, invites us into sacred narratives. Peter Bruegel the Elder. Peter Bruegel's work reads like a medieval comic book, filled with satire, allegory, and intricate storytelling. The Fall of the Rebel Angels shows demons morphing into everyday creatures. His winter landscapes and peasant dances immortalize 16th century life with rare authenticity. Rubens and Van Dyck. Peter Paul Rubens dominates the Baroque period. His dynamic compositions like the Martyrdom of St. Levinus explode with movement and color. His student, Anthony van Dyck, brought aristocratic elegance to portraiture. His paintings of Charles I shaped royal iconography across Europe. Art conservation focus, techniques, labs, digital restoration. Behind the scenes, teams of art conservators work with microscopes, X-rays, and chemical solvents to preserve these masterpieces. We'll show you the lab where 500-year-old canvases get a second life. The Magritte Museum. Next, we step into the whimsical and thought-provoking world of René Magritte, one of the most iconic and enigmatic figures in the history of Surrealist art. The Magritte Museum is a true treasure trove for art lovers and curious minds alike. It proudly houses the world's largest and most comprehensive collection of Magritte's work, with over 230 pieces on display. That's right, over 200 of his paintings, drawings, sculptures, photographs, and personal documents all under one roof. As you walk through the museum's beautifully curated rooms, you're not just looking at art, you're entering a dreamscape shaped by Magritte's imagination. His signature bowler hats, cloudy skies, and mysterious figures follow you from one gallery to the next, each piece challenging your perception of reality. You'll find everything from his early Impressionist works to his most famous masterpieces like The Empire of Light and The Treachery of Images, which famously declares, "This is not a pipe." But this museum isn't just about looking at paintings. It's an experience. You get a glimpse into the mind of a man who blurred the lines between illusion and truth, who made the ordinary seem extraordinary. There are letters, photographs, and even films that offer insight into how Magritte thought, worked, and saw the world. It's a deeply personal journey through the life of a man who never stopped asking, what if things weren't what they seemed? Whether you're a seasoned art connoisseur or someone who's just discovering surrealism for the first time, the Magritte Museum offers a truly unforgettable experience. It's not just a museum, it's a portal into a world where apples float, skies turn upside down, and reality is always just a question away. Artistic style, philosophy, symbolism. Magritte's art is a philosophical riddle. He challenges perception with everyday objects placed in impossible contexts. An apple obscures a face. A pipe is not a pipe. Reality, identity, and illusion blur in each brushstroke. Rare works and personal objects. The museum also houses his early sketches, advertising illustrations, and notebooks filled with cryptic thoughts. There's even the bowler hat and overcoat he often wore, turning himself into a living symbol of his own art. Influence on pop culture and modern art. From album covers to fashion design, Magritte's legacy lives on in pop culture and postmodern philosophy. We'll explore how artists from Warhol to Dali were influenced by his visual language. The Modern Museum. Alright, if you thought the Museum of Fine Arts Brussels was all about dusty old paintings, think again. Let me introduce you to the Modern Museum section, where things take a bold turn. This part of the museum focuses on art from the late 18th century all the way to the 21st century. We're talking about masterpieces from artists like James Ensor, Rick Wouters, and even Belgian surrealist Paul Delvaux. The vibe here? Totally different, edgy, emotional, and sometimes a little bizarre, but in the best way. What makes this part of the museum so cool is how it reflects Belgium's shifting identity through time, wars, revolutions, industrialization, and modern thought. The galleries are designed to make you feel something: confusion, awe, nostalgia, you name it. Plus, the museum keeps evolving with pop-up exhibits and rotating collections that keep things fresh. So, whether you're into bold brush strokes or thought-provoking installations, the Modern Museum inside the Museum of Fine Arts Brussels is where the past meets the pulse of today. The Modern Museum bridges the classical and contemporary. It covers the 19th and 20th centuries, an era of upheaval, innovation, and expressive freedom. Belgian artists Ensor, Wouters, Delvaux, Permeek. James Ensor leads the pack with his grotesque carnival masks and societal satire. Rick Wouters' intimate paintings of daily life breathe color and joy. Paul Delvaux creates dreamscapes with Greco-Roman ruins and wandering nudes. European masters, Matisse, Picasso, Modigliani. You'll also find works by Matisse's Fauvist brilliance, Picasso's Cubist rebellion, and Modigliani's elongated elegance. Their inclusion underscores Brussels' international reach in the modern art dialogue. Fin de siècle Museum. Step into the Fin de siècle Museum, and you're transported to a time of transition, the turn of the 20th century, when old worlds crumbled and new dreams emerged. Symbolist painters, Knopf, Spilliard, Delville. Symbolism here is heavy with spiritualism, mysticism, and existential questioning. Fernand Knopf's melancholic women and silent interiors reflect psychological depth. Léon Spilliard's lonely seascapes hint at modern alienation. Decorative arts and Art Nouveau. Architect Victor Horta, a father of Art Nouveau, is featured through furniture, ironwork, and stained glass. Every corner here breathes harmony between beauty and function. Meunier and Weertz Museums. Away from the main site, we find two fascinating artist homes turned museums. The Meunier Museum showcases Constantin Meunier's dedication to industrial labor. His sculptures and paintings honor workers, miners, and the dignity of toil. Weertz's eccentricity. The Weertz Museum, by contrast, is a journey into the romantic, bizarre, and sometimes disturbing world of Antoine Weertz. His massive canvases include haunting images like The Premature Burial. He wanted to rival Michelangelo and created a legacy that's unique and unforgettable. Museum architecture and curation. The museums are not just buildings, they are carefully curated experiences. Each space considers light, acoustics, and thematic coherence. Skylights provide natural illumination, open floors encourage movement and reflection. Education, outreach, and cultural events. The museum isn't only about preservation. It's about participation. Programs for children, lectures for students, artist residencies, and cultural nights transform this institution into a living, breathing cultural center. The Royal Museums of Fine Arts of Belgium are more than a collection, they are a reflection of our human journey. From divine icons to surreal puzzles, from industrial grit to artistic whimsy, it's a museum complex unlike any other. If you're planning a visit, take your time. Each museum deserves a day of its own. Get the audio guide, join a tour, or simply sit in front of a masterpiece and let it speak to you. Thank you for staying with us through this immersive tour. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your favorite artwork or experience in the comments. Until our next artistic journey, keep exploring, keep wondering, and most of all, keep feeling.